What is up, guys? Welcome to the video. So I know it's been a little while since I've broken down what my current diet is. If you've been on the channel for a minute, you know I've done every diet under the sun, trying to figure out what the best one is, and I think I found it. In the last video, I mentioned I only eat one time a day, and a lot of people in the comments seemed to think it was crazy or wanted more information on it. So in this video, I'm gonna break it all down. I'm gonna give you every reason as to why I only eat one meal a day, how it quite literally changed my life, and that's being real. Some people might try to clickbait you into a video like this, but I'm telling you guys, it literally changed my life. I started doing it about a year ago, and I have never stopped. So if you've been trying a bunch of other diets and you are not finding the success you want, and although this may sound crazy, I promise you, if you give it an honest shot, it might just change your life too. So if you guys are ready, let's get this video underway. Let's do it! So let's break this down. OMAD, O-M-A-D, stands for one meal a day. I know that sounds daunting, but once we get into it, you'll see that it's really not that bad. It's actually really simple. Most diets, I would say, where people fail is that they are overly complicated. There's a whole system of checks and balances, things you can have, things you can't have. With OMAD, you get a lot more freedom, and I'll explain all of this as we go throughout the video, but it's less of a complete adherence to a specific set of principles like most diets will have. It's more about the freedom, and that's what I love most about it. So I know you've probably heard this a million times.
It's not a diet, it's a lifestyle.
And as cringy as that is really what OMAD is at its core. It's a lifestyle. OMAD is not the only term used for this diet. Some people also call it extreme intermittent fasting or a 23-1 fasting protocol, which states that 23 hours out of the day you are not eating, you're in a fasted state, and there's 1 hour of the day, you have a 1 hour window to get all your food and calories in. And keep in mind, this is also flexible. You don't have to have a set in stone 23 hours where you don't eat, and a full 1 hour down to the second that you can eat, and at the last minute you gotta throw the pizza at the wall. You can play with that a little bit, because sometimes I might eat a little longer than that, I might eat a little less than that. I might only fast for 20 hours, but really, as long as you're eating one meal a day, this is gonna work. So I think to understand why this diet works so well, you have to understand the main principle behind why it works, and that is the fasting component. You've probably heard the term intermittent fasting everywhere. You might know some people that fast for a living. The most popular form of intermittent fasting, the one you've probably heard of, is the 16-8 fasting protocol for intermittent fasting. That is essentially spending 16 hours of your day in a fasted state where you don't eat and you have an 8-hour eating window. I know that Joe, have you tried DMT Rogan? That's one of the things he swears by, and that's originally what made me hop on that. And I did that for a couple years before I accidentally stumbled upon OMAD completely by accident, which I'm glad I did. I used to be a religious faster. Noon to 8 was my eating window, and I would spend the other 16 hours not eating nothing. But as I did it longer and longer, I started slowly stretching it out. I wouldn't eat till 2, and then it'd be 2 to 8 would be my fasting window, and then one day I forgot to eat until about 5 o'clock at night, and I remember 5 o'clock rolls around, and I'm like, this is strange. I'm like not even hungry, but I guess I'll eat. So after doing that, I woke up the next day, felt amazing, did a little research, and figured out that OMAD was an actual thing. So that's how I stumbled into it, and since I accidentally did it, it's all we've been doing, baby. So let's break down some benefits of intermittent fasting. One of the first benefits is that while you're in a fasted state, it allows your body to use stored energy on you in the form of body fat for fuel, as opposed to the food you just ate. Think about it. When your body's going for fuel, when you just ate something, especially carbohydrates, it knows that that energy is readily available. It can siphon off of that to do what you got to do. When you're fasted, your body has nothing in the stomach, or if it does, it's very minuscule, and it's more likely to go for body fat on you and burn it off, which is what we all want, right? Isn't that what we all want? Frank, is that what we all want? Frank. And as much as that's probably the benefit some of you guys are looking for the most, for me, it's almost a completely different thing. Like I love that. That's a cool side effect. But for me, it's the mental clarity and how alert and how much more energy I have in the mornings when I am fasted. And that is 100% a real thing. I remember back when especially when I was bulking, right? You'd wake up, you'd smash a big meal one, right? And you'd do it as soon as you woke up. I felt like it almost like slowed me down. I'd wake up, have all this energy, then I'd eat a big bowl of oatmeal, and then I'd feel my body just downshifting. With this, all I'm drinking is black coffee when I wake up. I take my greens and I am just going. And I literally don't even have to stop to think about food, which allows me to just kind of focus on what I need to get done. There's no such thing as a food break, because I know later on I'm gonna get to eat. Back when we were a hunter-gatherer species, right? Before there was a McDonald's down the street and we had food readily available, you had to literally go hunt for your food. So there is an actual survival mechanism in our heads over years and eons of evolution. It triggers us when we wake up and there's not food available. It puts your body in a state of higher alertness, increases your cognitive functions, and allows you to have that energy you would have needed to go hunt something. Hunt a bear, chase down an elk, butcher a carp. Aren't you glad those days are over? But if you think about it, it really makes sense. And then on the flip side of that, the other mechanism is once you eat, your body knows that there's energy available, and it tries to conserve energy, and it slows your metabolism down. It slows all your other bodily functions down. You ever ate a big meal, especially one with carbs? You eat it, then you're like, whoa. You're like a bear that got hit with a tranquilizer dart. Fasting is also shown shown to increase your metabolism, which means while you are just hanging out, your body is burning more calories just chilling, right? If I ate a big old breakfast, I'd be burning significantly less calories standing here talking to you than I would have burnt having not ate. And the final benefit I'll talk about is a decrease in inflammation. You ever wake up and your whole body just kind of like aches a little bit? Things kind of hurt, you don't really know why. Then you remember the Big Mac and 20-piece nugget you had last night combined with 10 Bud Lights. Those are the days. But a lot of conditions we go through can be boiled down to inflammation. When you are in a fasted state, your body is in detox mode and it's going through and it's detoxing your blood, removing toxins, things of that nature, and overall it just makes you feel better. If I was a used car salesman and I was selling you the OMAD car, you'd have already bought it. You'd have even got that BS insurance on top of it. $50 extra a month in case of volcanoes, I ain't buying it. So overall, even if you don't do OMAD, if you take anything away from this video, I want it to be that if you haven't ever tried fasting before, give it a shot because it's real good. So I know what you're thinking. Rem, if I'm not eating for 23 hours out of the day, what can I have? What am I gonna do with all my time? Well, glad you asked. Pick up a hobby like knitting, volunteer at a local shelter, adopt a puppy. All jokes aside, you'll have more free time. So you'll be able to have shenanigans or fun or whatever. Binge watch a couple more shows, whatever it is that you do. But while you're fasting, it's not that you can't have anything. It's just that you wanna make sure everything you do have is 0 calorie or very close to it. It takes about 50 calories, gonna depend on the individual, but about 50 calories to break a fast. And even then, something very tiny, as long as you don't overdo it, isn't really gonna hinder anything. As far as what I do all day, I keep things very, very simple. I got my morning supplements, which I'm not taking a ton right now, but hold up. First thing I do when I wake up is take some green superfood powder. This assures, even on my worst days, when I don't get veggies in, I'm still getting in my greens, baby. I take green superfood powder every day. I drink a mountain of black coffee. Would you look at that, man? Custom Yeti Final Boss Performance with Ram on the back. Shout out to my girl. I drink a lot of black coffee. Black coffee and fasting go together like lamb and tuna fish. Dynamic duo. You can look that up too, benefits of black coffee while you're fasting, but I drink it black. And that means no sugar, no creamer, no nothing. You drink it black. Like the inside of a coffin on a moonless night. That needs to be pitch black. And other than that, I get this question a lot. Ram, what's in the jug? Every day I fill a gallon jug up and I mix branched chain amino acids in with it and I drink this all day. Now this is the part. There's always comments of people saying that branched chain amino acids break your fast and all this yada yada yada. All I'm gonna say is I've been doing it for 5 years. I've been doing this exact same thing. There's always something in my jug. I've always been drinking BCAAs and I've never ever even once noticed it break my fast or hinder my results in any way, shape, or form. Branched chain amino acids are basically protein without the calories. It's the building blocks of muscle. When your body is in a deficit, especially when you're cutting, they're more important than I would say when you're bulking. But when you're cutting, your body is looking at everything it's got available for energy and it's gonna go, okay, what can we burn for fuel? And when you're in a deficit, that leaves us with two choices. We got our body fat and we got our muscle. You hear about people saying they cut and they lost all their muscle. And that could be because of poor macro choices or whatnot. So when you drink branched chain amino acids and your body is looking for that energy, it's gonna see that your body has an overabundance of amino acids and it's gonna prioritize fat loss over muscle. That's what I've always done and I've always swore by it. Plus it tastes really good. 4 scoops to a jug and you are golden. If you want aminos that have amazing flavor, finalbossperformance.com. We got Sour Moon Rock and Atomic Bombsicle. I promise you will love them if you try them out. Code RJF10 at finalbossperformance.com will save you 10%. So basically anything with 0 calories, you are good to go. Keep in mind, some things with 0 calories, if they're extremely artificial, might trigger some cravings in you, but at this point, I'm so entrenched in OMAD, I don't think the jaws of life could pry me away, to be honest. So if you think you're on board with OMAD, I'm gonna break down how I think you could get started and probably the best way to approach it. Before that though, I got a link in my description box for my second channel. For anything lifestyle related or not fitness and nutrition, go check it out. We got a new music video dropping this Friday. I promise it's gonna be dope. We went and shut down Columbus for that, like 3 a.m. Cops rolled up and everything, but we got it done. So make sure you subscribe to that and be on the lookout Friday music video drop. So as far as getting started goes on OMAD, I would suggest, kind of like I said earlier, would be to start with a simpler fasting protocol. So fast until noon, try the noon to 8 eating window, and then as you go, stretch it out, turn noon into 1 after a couple days, turn noon into 2, turn noon into 3, and then eventually you're only gonna have 1 hour left. Or you can just hop into that thing straight up. It's not bad for your body, you're gonna be just fine. I promise. People think you eat 1 meal a day and bad things are gonna start happening. You eat 1 meal a day and your life turns into the Final Destination movies. But it ain't like that, man. We're resilient creatures, for real. So the first couple days might be a little tough and you might be a little hungry, but I promise you will adjust quickly. And I'll give you some evidence for that here in a minute. Make sure you examine your schedule when you're setting up your feeding windows and figure out what's gonna be most convenient for you, because that's the key, man, to any diet is really what does it feel like a diet? What feels easy to do? What's comfortable to do, right? So find when works for you. And like I said, be flexible with it. I'm not even on a really strict OMAD schedule in that like I eat at 6 every day or 7 or 5. Like I just do it when it's convenient. Is it 8 o'clock at night and I'm gonna eat? I'm gonna go for it. If it's 5 o'clock and people wanna grab dinner, I'll go do that. As far as what you can eat on OMAD, technically, you can eat anything. But here's what I recommend and here's what I do, right? 5 days out of the week, I'm eating pretty clean. Stay around 70 grams of fat, 210 grams of protein, and about 200 grams of carbs as of right now. And I try to make sure I have my lean proteins in there, whether that's chicken, whether that's lean ground beef, whether that's fish. I don't know why I said that, I don't even eat fish. But lean proteins, a good carb source, and I get my veggies in, and I'll eat like one massive meal a day. And the best part about OMAD, in my opinion, and one of the reasons it changed my life, is because I was able to quit thinking about food all day. When I was cutting and on a meal plan and really pushing myself, it's like all I cared about was the next meal. That dominated my thoughts. With OMAD, it's off my brain plate, and I can focus on everything else. And then when it is time to eat, I know that like I'm gonna eat until I am full, which is another downside of so many diets, is that you don't really ever feel like you get to eat until you're full. Which with OMAD, I literally get to satisfy my binge eating disorder that I got. Thanks body image issues for that one. And then after my 5 days of clean, the weekends I always go a little crazy. Sundays is a free-for-all, and so is Saturday for me. But the best part about OMAD is that when you don't eat all day and you go out and you eat a bad meal, it's still very, very hard to eat over your calories. Just think about it. If you can only eat 1 hour a day, it's way harder to shove a ton of calories into one meal than it is spread out over like 6. And another benefit of OMAD is that it shrinks your stomach, as in the actual bag in your stomach. Not, I mean, it's gonna do both. It's gonna shrink exterior and interior. You get what I'm saying? The bag in your stomach, if it could hold this much food, OMAD's gonna cause it to shrink. So you can't put as much food in it after a while, which means I get fuller way easier. Anybody remember those eating challenges I used to do? I can't do those no more. Not since OMAD. So 2 nights out of the week, I just kind of have a free-for-all and get to eat whatever I want, as long as I cut it off at one meal and I don't let it turn into like I eat at 4 and then I snack all day. As long as I do that, I'm straight. And then now my 2 dudes, we got Ankrum and Grant. When I first started doing OMAD, they were like, I don't know how you do it. I eventually was able to talk them into doing it, and they're both on 2 separate protocols. Ank is full OMAD. So that dude is doing OMAD every single day. He, like me, struggled with binge eating issues and getting lean and then rebounding my weight fast because I couldn't control myself. But with OMAD, you can have a bit of everything. As long as you're pretty good throughout the week, you can have your cheat meals on the weekends, and it doesn't really seem to affect your life. I remember being terrified of people being like, hey, you want to come to a restaurant with us? And I knew I was in a diet. I'm like, if I go there, I'm gonna cheat. I can't go. But now, appetizers for the whole table. Order all of it. So Ank's full OMAD, so you can go bug him and ask him about it, but he loves it. Takes a couple days, but he's in there. Grant's a little different. Grant follows a meal plan Monday through Friday and then switches to OMAD Saturday and Sunday for his cheat meals, which is another way you could do it. You could be a little more flexible with it. Like I said, it's about what works for you. No diet's better than any other. Really, it's all about what diet fits your lifestyle. What diet can you do without feeling like a second job, right? I know I just gave you guys a lot of information. Hopefully it was easy to digest, but when I say OMAD changed my life, it really did, man. I've been on YouTube now for 4 years, something like that, and throughout the course of my YouTube career, I did tons of vlogs and I would document these diets where I'd go on these like 8, 12 week, 16 week diets, and literally like when the camera wasn't rolling, I was miserable. I had times where I couldn't control my binge eating. I'm eating so much food. I'm doing hours of cardio to try to negate it because I knew in my next video, if I showed my progress, I didn't make any, wouldn't look good. Wouldn't look good. And it was just this terrible relationship I had with food. And I swear OMAD completely fixed that to the point where I wonder why more people aren't doing it. Like, it keeps me up at night. For real, for me, for my lifestyle, it's like the best thing I ever did. For real, it changed my life in so many ways. I can make a video just on how it changed my life. I'm telling you, completely the best decision I ever made. So hope you guys got some value out of this video, man. Feels good to be back. Got any video suggestions? Leave those as well. I thought about doing some videos where I could break down like full OMAD meals and show you like what a full OMAD meal would look like. Cause I have a ton of different recipes I do for one meal that I could post on this channel that you guys would probably love. So let me know about that. If you've tried OMAD before, comment down below with your success stories or your failures. Whichever one, baby. Don't forget my second channel. New music video drops this Friday. Follow me on social media. Remington JV on Twitter. The Remington James on Instagram. Remington James Fitness on Facebook. Meal plans and online coaching. RemingtonJamesFitness.com. The best tasting aminos around. FinalBossPerformance.com. Code RGF10. I feel like I just plugged like 5 things. Just space those out a little better. Thank you guys as always for watching. Subscribe. Hit that thumbs up button. I will see you guys at the next video, baby. Peace.